Emmanuel, is there a lesson to be learned from this experience of Bol Mel, right from how he quickly rose to how also he quickly fell, especially for the presidency? Is there a lesson to be learned?
So many lessons, Patrick. One is that, as I said before, that it is good to always understand the nature of the space that you're working in, right? It's very, very important. And I mentioned this at the start, that if you are someone in the caliber of Bol Mel, who has seen the favor of the president over the past few months, that even at some point, when there are so many seasoned politicians, military politicians within the army, but the president still went and just place his blessing on you and then try to pick you, and even went on and sacrificed one of the veteran military a person who fought so much in the liberation in the names of James Waniga, just to give you that place. And you know that you were given that privilege by such a person. You should understand the circumstances, or the landscape in which you're operating. This is a country which does not really have a very permanent and full constitution, where the positions that you're serving in are protected by the law, and that when you're serving in those positions, there is no one who poses a threat to what that position and maybe gets you removed out. When you serve in this position, you're serving at the mercy of the person who appointed you, and that when you serve in this position, you must always possess some level of loyalty. That is one thing, a lesson that people must learn. You must always be loyal. There's one book called The 48 Laws of Power, written by Robert Greene. And one of the first laws of power is that you should never outshine your master. You should never outsmart them. Do not pose a threat to their well being, and they shouldn't look at you as a threat and look at you and become insecure in where you're operating. And then that is what Mel failed to exhibit. He made President Kiir insecure throughout by his dealings, by his conduct, and that's what so many people need to do. It's not only in politics, it is wherever you operate. It could be in your businesses, it could be in your workspace, or everywhere you're operating. Do not always try to outshine the master. And that if you do have ambitions that are overwhelming, you should always learn the art of secrecy. Do things underground that no one spots it out so often. Like, the persons above you should never get to know about what you're planning. If you do have plans against him, if you have ambitions of maybe replacing him or taking over his position, always learn the art of secrecy. Do them in secret, do them underground, and no one should know about them. Because the moment they know about it, then they will strip you of all your privileges, just like what they did to Benjamin Bol Mel. And that was very, very important lesson. Yeah.
Uh, some people would say that great masters or teachers would always want to see their students become better than them as the masters. Is there a lesson to be learned here by the president himself? Because I think so many people online say that the nature in which Bol Mel was selected in the first place showed favoritism, as in he did not have the qualification and portfolio to really take on the office he was given.
Mhm.
But even as the darling of the president, in a short time we've seen a fallout between Salva Kiir and Bol Mel. Is there a lesson that maybe the president himself could learn from this experience?
I think one biggest lesson that the president also needs to learn is that, it's always good to be on the lookout about the people that work around with you. I mean, in politics, it always suggests that you surround yourself with the people that you trust most. That is what happens everywhere around the world. The nature of politics is that once you become a head of state, once you become a president of a country, you always want to associate yourself with people that have been supporting you, people that wants to promote your agenda, people that If you are a president who is corrupt, you want to associate yourself with people who are corrupt. If you have an intention of delivering to the country, you associate yourself with people that have that intentions in mind. And that's why when people get elected as president, they go and look at their surrounding, their friends, their network, and they look and appoint ministers to serve in those cabinets. And then what Kerry should learn is that it's hard. Do not in politics. You should not trust anyone. You should not trust in politics. There is no friendship in politics, and that whenever you get into the political space, you lost some kind of I feel like you lost some kind of sense in you, and you become like a monster. That's what I would call. You become a monster. You become envious. You become ambitious, and that within a very short time, because of the power that is given to you, you want to claim that you are in control of everything. And I think that kids should always be very careful on how you groom people to be around you, because he seems to have created a mountain out of an anthill, and that he now has to deal with it. He has to climb to the other side of it. And that is what exactly what happened to him with Bol Mel, that a guy from nowhere, he made him so powerful within a very short time that at some point he had to deal with. And that is what he should learn, that in the next time he should always give people the face. I mean, make the promotion, but give them the faces, give them a position at a time, learn how they act in those positions before you give them the full force or the full powers. Otherwise, if you continue to do this, the next time he might bring in someone who will not be of the caliber of Mel, but one that is experienced and can actually make his political career come to an end and his presidency within a very small time. And that is what he should always learn from this whole story. That do not trust anyone in politics, and give people some faces before bringing them into the limelight. I mean, learn about them, give them the time, train them at some point. You don't just have to bring people from nowhere to a very high position.
Right. It's very interesting. I think right now for most citizens, South Sudan, we are all trying to wrap our mind around this dramatic moment and how Bol Mel has fallen from grace to
Right.
grass.